All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're breaking down some absolutely critical, life-saving information for anyone who's just brought a new kitten home. Seriously, these next few minutes could make all the difference for your new little family member.
Let's start with what is, without a doubt, the single most important rule you need to burn into your brain. Kittens are not small cats. It seems simple, right? But treating them like a miniature adult is probably the most dangerous mistake a new owner can make.
And here's exactly why that rule matters so much. You see, a minor issue in your grown-up cat, maybe they're a little off their food, that's something you watch and wait on. But in a kitten, that's a full-blown emergency. Their tiny bodies just don't have any reserves, and things can go downhill with terrifying speed. Understanding this is step one to keeping them alive. So, let's get into it. Just how fragile are we really talking about here?
Well, here's a good rule of thumb. Kittens generally gain about 1 pound for every month they're alive. So, an 8-week-old kitten, which is when most people bring them home, weighs only about 2 pounds. Think about that. They are just incredibly tiny and so delicate.
Because they're so small and unbelievably fast, your number one job, before food, before toys, before anything else, is to protect them from all the dangers of a normal house. Dangers they are completely and blissfully unaware of. And these stories are exactly why this is so critical. And look, these aren't tales about bad or careless owners. These are heartbreaking, split-second accidents that happen to really good, loving people when a tiny kitten darts into a recliner just as it's closing, or it curls up for a nap in a warm dryer. So, the solution here is simple, and honestly, it's non-negotiable. You have to set up a designated 100% kitten-proof safe room. Think of it as their home base. This is where they stay anytime you can't give them your complete, undivided attention.
So when can they come out and explore? It's actually a really simple rule. If your eyes are 100% on that kitten, you're playing, you're cuddling, you're actively watching their every move, then sure, they can be out with you. But the second you get distracted by cooking or laundry or you're about to fall asleep on the couch, they have to go back to their safe room. There are no exceptions to this rule.
Okay, now let's talk about a hidden danger that could be hiding inside that very safe room, and that's the litter box. This is a huge one, so listen up. You have to remember, kittens explore the world with their mouths. That means they're going to taste, lick, and sometimes swallow their litter. And if they swallow clumping litter, it can literally form a concrete-like blockage in their intestines, which is fatal. The rule is simple. Only use non-clumping litter, like pine or paper pellets, until they're at least 6 months old. All right, let's move on to nutrition, because feeding them the right stuff is just as important as keeping them in a safe room. The wrong food can cause a kitten's health to crash just as quickly as a physical accident. A kitten's diet changes so much in that first year. They go from milk replacer to a kind of soupy paste mix, and then for most of that first year, their diet should be almost entirely high-quality wet food. And this is a question we hear all the time. I get it. It seems way easier, right? Just leave a bowl of kibble out and let them graze. But for a little kitten, this can be incredibly dangerous. So here's the deal. Dry food just doesn't have the moisture that kittens desperately need. Plus, their tiny stomachs can't hold enough of it to actually meet their high-energy needs. This can quickly lead to dehydration and lethargy, and sometimes they'll just stop eating altogether. So many kittens get returned to shelters because they seem sick, when really the only thing wrong is that they're being fed dry food. Okay, so you've got your kitten in a safe room, and they're eating the right food. Great. Your next job is to become an expert detective, learning how to spot those super subtle signs that something is wrong before it becomes a real crisis.
Dehydration is a massive killer of kittens. No joke. So here's how you check for it. You gently pinch the skin at the scruff of their neck. On a healthy, hydrated kitten, it'll snap right back instantly. If it goes back slowly, or worse, stays in a little tent, that's a major red flag for dehydration, and you need to act fast.
Next up, check their gum color. Just gently lift their lip. The gums should be a really vibrant bubblegum pink. If you see pale, white, or grayish gums, that means they aren't getting enough oxygen in their blood. This is a true drop everything and go emergency. And that brings us to this incredibly important list. With kittens, you never wait and see. If your kitten skips even one single meal, has repeated vomiting or diarrhea, seems even a little less playful than usual, or shows pale gums or any sign of dehydration, you need to get to a vet that same day. Not tomorrow, today.
And now for our final, most important point. the golden rule. If you take away only one thing from this whole explainer, please let it be this.
This is a direct quote from a real and very tragic story. An adopter called a rescue saying her 2 new kittens had stopped eating and playing. The rescuer immediately told her it was an emergency and to get them to a vet. The adopter's response was that she'd see how they do. She waited, and by the time she finally rushed them to an emergency clinic, it was just too late. Their tiny bodies were too far gone, and both of them died. They died because of that one decision, the decision to wait. So here is the crucial takeaway. Kittens cannot afford the benefit of the doubt. Their systems crash with a speed that is truly shocking to witness. An illness that an adult cat could easily shake off can and will kill a kitten in 24 to 48 hours. You don't have days, you have hours. Ultimately, it all comes down to this one question. A vet visit that turns out to be for nothing is always, always, always better than waiting too long and losing a life you could have saved. Their life is literally in your hands. Please, for their sake, always choose to act.